somebody else, and maybe you want to click on somebody else and see what happens too. I don't know how it works. I'm learning.
Me neither. I don't know. It's the first time I use something like this.
Well, we're all learning at the same time.
Yes.
I think on the top of your screen there's a little row of people.
Yes.
I think if we click on one, we'll actually introduce ourselves to that person. So try that. I'm going to hope to talk to you again later.
Because if I speak, the others don't. Only
you can only
hear me, and the others. I think everybody can hear me if I speak.
Yes, we can hear you. Hopefully.
Okay, okay.
Oh, Anthony Capetto.
Hi there.
Hi. You know, I've seen your work for years.
Thank you.
I don't know who you are. I can't see your picture. It's not coming up on my screen.
Oh, it isn't?
No.
No idea. I don't know why.
It's in the bar on the where. Oh, hang on. I'll go through the bar. Oh, here you are. Right. Yeah. No, we found you, but your picture's not coming up. But
let me see.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
You there?
Oh, no, we're here. We're completely here. We just see mute and 3 little dots.
All right. Look, this is my first time. Don't ask me. And I'm 65, you know. I mean, I'm the wrong generation completely. You know. You there, Anthony?
Yes, we are here.
Oh, yeah. Where's here?
New York City.
Oh, far out.
Hey! We got you.
Oh,
hey.
Oh, hang on. We've got Philip and Catherine again.
Could you hear any of that?
Did you hear any of that?
No.
Nobody heard any
word.
Oh, wow.
We don't have audio on. We apologize.
You'll have to start it. Well, you've done the dress rehearsal. Start again.
Yes, we have. Yes. Okay. Yes, I was just saying that one of the highlights of last week was Peter Voice and Bev Isaacs painting on the carpet. That was an incredible, inspired piece of artwork there, and we just love that. Yeah, I mean, it was a really innovative idea, I think, and it was great.
That carpet was absolutely horrible.
That looked good from where we could see.
You did a good job.
It's great.
I would have rather drawn on the mosaic tiles than do that again.
Yeah, that was good.
It was the sort of carpet they put on the exterior decks of boats. It was totally plastic, non-absorbent, waterproof, and was as abrasive as sandpaper.
Oh.
Your piece came out great.
We loved it.
Yeah, it did come out well.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, other people.
So, yeah, hi.
Yeah, that's Anna from Mexico.
Oh, Mexico. Hello, Mexico.
Hola.
Yeah.
Hola.
Hi, we are very fine here.
Hi,
Nice to meet you, all of you.
Yeah.
Very happy to stay with you. Estamos muy bien acá en México.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The Mexican artists were really good. And
Yeah.
21 Mexican artists. I mean,
Yeah, 21.
where do you get them all from? It's incredible. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Anna, you're my neighbor because I'm in Houston, Texas. Many of my students are from Mexico.
Oh, hola.
Joel?
Yeah, that's Joel. Hey, Joel.
Hola, Anthony.
Hey, Joel.
Anthony. Wendy.
It's nice to see you.
Thank you. Happy to see you.
It's been too long.
Yes, too long. Maybe one time in Toulon in France and in south of France.
If we are ever allowed to travel to Europe again.
If we're trusted,
Yeah.
our boards.
but thank you so much to participate this for this event. It's really good job for every artist, and then thank you so much for every international artist. Bandol it's the beginning of a good a really nice event movement, international movement with all the artists, and thank you so much, Catherine and Philip, to diffuse. I don't know if it's the right term, but to send the world this great invitation.
Well,
we were blown away with the amount of people who came through.
You played the game.
Yeah, but did we play it well?
Yes, the French artists was so great, and everybody was so great. Thank you so much.
it was great to have a virtual event alongside a real event actually happening in the world today, because I mean, I don't know if everybody else is in the same boat, but we've not had one single festival
in the UK
happening in the UK this year. It's been a total, I mean, I know the governments have said that you can do outside theatre and stuff like that, but the chances of doing that are virtually not.
Yes, maybe why not? Yes, it's a good chance to give the artist the chance to involve in a street painting event, whatever was street painting ever, but virtual is good. It's good to make art alive.
Yes.
Street painting alive.
Yeah, it came about through a conversation with Joelle, who told us about this bandol event, and you said you were having some international artists taking part virtually, and so we just thought we'd extend upon that and join together as Coloured Earth events as well, which I think worked really well. And
amazing response.
It did give it enhanced. I hope it enhanced the bandol event. We loved seeing the photos and the videos coming through from bandol. But I mean, one of our highlights from that was actually Tomac and his
Tomac.
His brilliant impression of Jean Reno in Leon. Yeah, the South of France. I love that. That was a big highlight, and we keep saying it over and over again. But also the work was superb as well. There was some superb. Just seeing how sunny it was in France when it was raining here. UK and Mexico was hailstone, and even Italy had its first show of rain. So it was great.
We have a good condition for the artist, and maybe too much out.
Yeah.
Too much out, but the artist did the good job. And every artist, I see so many really good job, and I put on the Facebook, and because it's a real.
Well, we had over 100 artists wanting to take part, and out of that, over 60.
Actually. Oh yeah. Cool.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
So street painting it's alive.
Yes. Sorry, Peter. What did you say then?
That included people who were subjected to hurricanes and rain and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it was amazing.
Really good job. Yeah,
I love the inventiveness as well. People kind of
diversity,
doing stuff on kitchen, bathroom floors, tiles, and
carpets,
all
walls,
kinds of
cardboard paper, all sorts of things.
Wherever you could do it.
Yeah,
wherever you could do it. Even in your apartments in New York.
Inside, Anthony.
That was a lovely piece, actually.
I love the concept of that piece of work.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
The Genesis cover. And, it was really.
You know, I don't know what I like.
Yeah. Nice piece. Nice piece.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, COVID COVID affected work. I mean, we see that this kind of online festival will become more of a feature in the future. There's
Maybe
no doubt
not.
about it. And I think that there is room for it, even if we get physical events.
Yes, for sure.
To have a virtual event running alongside it. Absolutely.
It can be developed,
Every year we organise a festival and we get 3 times as many artists apply to take part in that as we can
afford to bring over.
So the idea of a virtual event alongside it is superb, you know, and I think it works really, really well. What we're going to do is we're going to take what we've learned from this event, and there is a fund from the Arts Council England with the support of Outdoor Arts UK to try and get some funding for next year's festival. Unfortunately and worryingly is that the fact that everything that we were hoping for this year hasn't been postponed. It has actually been taken away. It's been cancelled basically. So it's been used for something else. So that's a worrying aspect as well. And I think it's worrying from events promoters worldwide. I mean, we've been talking about it through Outside Arts, haven't we? About the fact that will there be any money to do these kind of things in the future, you know? I don't know what.
Can we talk about the way in which street artists can help to reinvent the high street? This is the message to Malcolm.
Yes, Malcolm is very, we've been speaking with Malcolm recently about doing that. Yes, totally.
Where is Malcolm? Who is Malcolm?
Can you hear us, Malcolm?
I didn't see him.
His camera's not working. If you look at the chat box, open that up.
Yes, okay. Cool. Cool.
Malcolm, can your audio work if your video doesn't?
See if audio's working.
He's actually he's unmuted, so he should be able to hear.
I hear okay. I'm the UK based. Oh, no audio. Is no audio with Malcolm.
No audio. Okay. Well, let's talk about how street artists can help reinvent the high street. That's a good question, actually. Maybe something we should would anyone like to start that discussion? Yes, Jean-Marc.
Jean-Marc. Oh, Jean-Marc, you can speak in French. Yes. No.
Oh.
Yes.
Somebody being attacked by their dog.
Yeah.
That's Christine.
Yes, Jean-Marc, you can speak in French because everybody is English, but I could try to translate, not so much. Okay?
I can understand French.
What?
I can understand French.
Yes, so I will to translate. Je comprends pas. Un petit peu.
Non, un peu.
Okay, Jean-Marc, you're talking, but we can't hear.
Can't hear.
Yes, Jean-Marc, but we can hear Jean-Marc. Jean-Marc.
I can't hear Jean-Marc.
No.
Jean-Marc.
Neither can we.
No sound.
Oh.
He is unmuted.
Yeah, he's unmuted.
What?
Yeah.
Unmuted.
Go to Mexico.
It's not so easy, Zoom.
Well, it's only because we're all new at this.
It doesn't always go to plan.
I have to have the help of Catherine to help me in Zoom.
Got you there, though. We got you there.
Okay, Malcolm can hear us. He's based in the UK.
Hello, Malcolm. How are you?
I'll just refer to his chat there. Okay. He's based in Herefordshire. He's got no audio. High Street must now diversify into health, education, including arts, education and community development. There is now a task force with £8 million to spend on the future of the high street in the UK.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we've been having discussions with Malcolm over the last couple of months. And there's a big conference coming up in the UK in October, November, which is bringing lots of arts professionals, health professionals together, trying to actually implement developing the high streets through art, having artists decorate the streets, maybe decorate shop windows, have running exhibitions. There's a lot of scope to work with that. So we're in discussion with Malcolm to see how we could possibly contribute as a collective to that, really. So yeah.
Yes. Who is Malcolm?
He's a professor, a doctor who very early on in the 1980s saw the correlation between art and health, and has really sort of pushed that forward throughout his own career. So yes, so he sees the importance of that.
Involved in the arts?
In the arts and with health, yeah.
Okay, it's a good news, no?
News, yeah, it's very positive.
It's very good news for the UK, and I think street artists could have a good deal to play.
A big role in that. Yes.
In that.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
But
can I say something for a moment?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, Peter.
Yeah. I can honestly say that I think in 1984, 1985, drawing on the footpath saved my life. You know, everything in my life had gone downhill. I'd lost literally everything I had, and I actually had quite a lot to lose, which also I understand now how privileged I was at the time. But I lost everything, had nothing in the bank, found a box of chalk, found absolute joy in drawing on the footpath. Got arrested, had hassles, but it literally saved my life. And I think there is, without doubt, incredible value in the creation of art.
Yes.
And incredible value in the appreciation of it. People who do not create or cannot or don't have the passion that's required sometimes to do something out of the box. But yeah, there's no doubt the relationship between mental health and art.
Big one. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I for me, I can make a parallel. How do you say parallel? A story with
parable.
With comment il s'appelle le jeune? In Liverpool, the young painter, Catherine.
James Collins.
James Collins. Yes, it's a close story, no? Maybe not the same story, but the artists in the streets not really
to survive,
not really recognized and then be outside of the society, because they are a real part of community. The artists of the streets. This is my point of view.
Yes.
And anybody else got anything to add? I mean, how they felt the festival went, or how you're dealing with COVID, how it's affecting you? I mean, anything else?
Anthony.
Definitely have a few simple things to say.
Anthony, I've seen your work for years, and I've never even seen your face except in a still photo. Come and talk to us so I can see your face, see your smile and your eyes.
I have a pink Floyd hat on.
Come on, no, take the hat off.
Oh, now you can see my hair.
Oh, you should see mine.
I do. If I had a couple of moments about, COVID has really affected us in more ways than one. We've learned there's a lot of holes in what we thought was a very impressive and strong nation that have to be filled. But more importantly, all of us as in Americans, we have to get through this. I mean, this is going to be a time, like in my opinion, akin to the Depression and the war. We just don't realize it yet, unfortunately. And I've been trying to express that in the work that I do. Even before that man became president, I've had political thought in my street paintings.
That man.
And from,
Sorry.
children being held at the border to the positivity of a young Hispanic girl having dreaming of the chance to be the first woman to step foot on Mars as a commander, and all, positive and attention. So what happened now with COVID, I looked at everything, and I've already drawn lots of sketches of very apocalyptic stuff. And I wanted to draw something that was more whimsical, that told the same message with allegory, as opposed to just writing, just drawing something because it was drawable. And
yes, this is the message. This is the good message. Yes, it's true. Yes. Because the bandol is the point of maybe the beginning of maybe bandol or elsewhere. A point of the beginning of street painting artists. So we have to reinvent, maybe in this case, to have a virtual exchange, virtual experience.
Artists always have to reinvent. We always have. We use every tool we can find, whether it be the computers and that we're using tonight, or whether it be somebody using an ancient, what do they call them, what is it, Bev, the old projector thing they used to use for paintings in the 19th century. I mean, we have to reinvent. That's the whole purpose.
Reinvent just not in the mind, just maybe in the physics, in the streets, not in the mind.
Would anyone else?
I don't know if you realize what I think about it, because the street artists are the same. They are going in the street. They draw and they paint, and they can exchange with the public. It's all the same all the time. But maybe we have to make a real recognition of this real street painting or ephemeral art, because it's a this art is like a consideration of we have like a manja. I don't know in English what is the manja. Is the people who ask some money, some food to the public, manja.
Oh, okay.
Like homeless people type.
How do you say in English?
Buskers? Is that what you mean?
Oh, for food, or I don't know.
No,
no. I understand. It's Italian, but I don't know how you say it in English.
Is it a beggar?
Beggar.
No,
That word.
Right.
Celui qui demande la charité.
Exactly.
Celui qui demande la charité. Celui qui demande la charité. Who? The man or the woman who has the charity. Like this.
Like an ambassador.
Don't get it.
Asking for alms.
So the street artists are not so much recognized like this. So that's the great movement of this week, because all the people can enjoy this movement, and it's so really nice. It was really nice, and thank you to all to join this movement.
I think what we're talking about here a little bit is the magic moment of a piece of pavement art that is actually not going to last very long. It's only there if you're lucky enough to be there.
Yeah.
or in our case, the artist who creates it.
Mm.
When I was first starting to draw, we knew nothing about fixing pavement drawings or making them last longer. And I used to draw in very raw but very colourful, ordinary chalk. It had, you know, good pigment in it, but no real power. And some of the greatest joys I ever had in some of my earliest pictures was actually finishing a really great picture at the right time. And then a beautiful storm would come in and wash it away. And I'd sit there and watch it until as
This
it
is
ran
ephemeral.
down the rain. I can remember a picture at Christmas where a storm came in on Christmas Eve, just as all the shops were closing down, and we had a series of beautiful pictures, and this storm hit. And as everybody was rushing home and we were trying to go home, it all just washed down the drain. And it was a beautiful thing to experience. And I think a lot of that was the karmic experience of being the artist who created that and allowed it to be walked on, washed away, damaged, and then I'd come back the next day and fix it. And then when I'd had enough of it and I thought my audience had enough, I would do another one and watch it wear away.
Yeah.
The karmic, the almost Buddhist element of was what actually probably stabilized my life as it was going downhill in a massive spiral, and gave me the greatest joy I've ever had as being a pavement artist.
There's a poetry in that, isn't there, Peter? That idea of the ephemeral nature of the work itself. There's a certain poetry in that, and also the fact that what occurred to me during that discussion was the how much pavement artists improvise and the work changes over time, you know, and I know we're in difficult times now, and we're going to find ourselves improvising even more in the future and trying to find new ways of doing what we do, and this is one of them, I suppose. I'd just like to draw your attention to what Malcolm said on the chat there. It's about 65 High Street, Nailsea, about a flagship project that he's running in the UK there. And he also says that some museum people see a big role for artists on footpaths, both live art and also video booths on footpaths within bus shelters.
Yeah, that's been done. There's other projects that are actually running for that.
Yeah.
Can I shift the discussion a little bit, please?
Yes.
Can we talk about doing this again?
Yeah, we were going to ask you that.
You want to do it again?
That's on the list.
Exactly. Right. Let's stop talking about COVID and lockdown and philosophies of being a pavement artist. Let's talk about what we thought were the best elements and what we thought were perhaps elements that didn't work very well. I'll stir the pot by saying that I was disappointed it had the theme of comics.
Oh yes.
Because I thought the theme of lockdown would have been humorous enough and would have provided a great deal more scope for our artists to do stuff with real wow.
Oh, yes.
We did see some real wow factor works, without doubt.
Yes.
But we were having artists doing recreation of other artists' work. And so if we do this again, I hope if the theme is if there is a theme, that it certainly doesn't revolve around the work of other artists that have been worldwide published and have enough bloody exposure in movies and all. I nearly swore, in movies and that sort of thing. So despite the beauty in that, and I do think the theme helped a lot of young children artists.
Yes, for
involved.
sure. Yes, it's
So,
a good.
you know,
Yes, it's a good.
I acknowledge that it is a criticism, but it's not something that was wrong. It was just something that I think needed in this particular first time. It would have been better to just go with, hey, it's lockdown. Give us a picture about your experience in lockdown. So next year, but having said that, oh gee, I don't think I've seen all the pictures yet, but wow, it was just, it worked.
Some fantastic.
It's amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
I think one of the great strengths was that community of knowing that you're spending a week doing it and everyone else is doing it around the world and you're all doing it together. You know, it's like, it's giving you that motive to do it. You know, if you just woke up in the morning and thought, I'll do a bit of pavement art on my doorstep, would you want to do that?
Exactly.
Well, it's the collective
elements.
Yeah. And that's an interesting concept, whether we actually put a theme on it or we just don't put a theme on it. I know when we do festivals, we prefer not to have a theme. You know, we prefer artists to just do their own thing, and that works quite well. But some people do want themes.
Yeah.
You know, and some funding bodies want themes, and they
demand.
They ask that organisers put a theme on it. I mean, when we did
Coloured Earth in Halifax last year.
Yeah, they wanted a theme to do with the
industrialisation.
Industrial. Yeah.
That of course gives them a lever for the promotional value in that.
Yes, that's it. Yes. It's whether you know. I mean, I'll throw it open to everyone. I mean, what do you think about themes? Anybody else got any?
Anyone else?
Always conceptual and visionary always works for me because it allows people to actually see what's inside of them and what they can bring out. It doesn't have to be like crazy or strange. It just has to be something that's thoughtful and brings the artist's heart and vision out to the crowd.
So it can just be
just to make sure you guys have the chat box open because Malcolm keeps making comments.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rebecca. Yes. There is a link there that Malcolm's given for Nailsea Town that maybe some people should click on. I can send that over to you.
Yeah, we can send that. We can send that. That's fine.
If needs be.
Yeah.
But yeah, the chat's an interesting thing. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be important to have a theme, but is it essential? I don't know. I mean, you know.
I thought the theme in Halifax, it suited the piece hall.
It did, Christine. Oh, good to see you, by the way.
I know the name's different. Sorry, I tried to sneak in, and we've got a new dog, and every time I take my mic off, she keeps barking. Sorry.
From your perspective, how did you find that when that was set? Because we did.
In a way, it's like it makes it a bit more of a chat because you can't just kind of go, oh, I'm going to do this. You've got to sort of tailor it to the theme, but in doing that, you have to then do research about where you're doing what the theme is, where it is, the piece hall, why the piece hall is important, its history and stuff like that. So the sort of A to B journey from like, you know, doing your research, you're doing a painting, and then looking at everybody else's as well. It does open up like a context, you know, where you are.
Did you feel it was restrictive though in any way? Or
well, at first, yeah, when I first saw the theme, and I was like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start, you know, and you don't know anything. I didn't know a lot about the piece hall. My grandma did and things like that, but it is restrictive in the way because it's going to stretch you. But I suppose then it's good to kind of walk around and see how everybody else responds to that theme as well. And it's good when you get a massive range of all all different kind of types of work and pieces and things like that. You know, everybody's different. Everybody has got their own perception, you know, and their own ideas about what to do with it. But yeah, it is. It does have its borders.
Ça réduit. It's a reduce with a term. With a term, is it a reduction?
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. I suppose I think it kind of depends where you are as well. Like I say, with the piece, it did fit where we were, you know, because of where we were, like doing the work within the piece hall, within our land. But yeah, I think it does restrict you a little bit.
A little bit, but
yeah,
I don't see your design. I don't see your design. You did?
Do you mean from the piece hall?
No. Ah, yes. You talk about piece hall. Okay.
Yeah. So that was it. Was just to say that, like, I think in sometimes like the context of, like, you know, like having
yes, you don't have the you don't so sorry, entre guillemets, you don't respect the theme. You
oh
did?
no, because like I just meant, so if you're in a certain area, like the environment or the location or wherever you are, with the like it was being specific to like the piece hall. It was interesting to be in a place that's got so much history, and then you have to kind of do the research to come up with something. But I think in other areas, like it's less, you know, and it's less specific. You're a lot more free to do whatever you want. It was just, I thought at the piece hall, it was good in a way to kind of, you have to do a bit of digging about the history of the piece hall and everything. But yeah, only specific to there. But generally, I would say they're pretty restrictive.
I really like site-specific artwork. We've always tried to make as much of our artwork as site-specific as we can, using elements around us. And no, I think site-specific is vitally important to a great piece of street art.
Yes, can I just talk about Malcolm's comments in the chat? We are looking for themes relevant to the in-service training of 5,000 town clerks. Can we share emails in the chat, possibly?
Or after the event today.
Or after the event today.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Can everybody do that? Or you can put
we will do that.
You can put it in the chat, and we'll
share the content.
And we share the content. If everyone could do that, that'd be brilliant. Another thing that did cross my mind. Yeah, my mind. Is that we're doing an Arts Council proposal, and we're looking at how we can get some funding to actually pay artists to make an event like this, in some respects, in some monetary way. Actually commission artists to do works virtually in a festival like this. How would artists feel about that for the start? You know, I mean,
can I mention something here?
Yes.
We were invited about 8 weeks ago now to an event called World Buskers United. It was a live 24-hour round the world event that started in London, I think 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday afternoon, and ran until 1 o'clock. No, sorry, 3 o'clock, until 3 o'clock in London on Sunday afternoon. It featured 100-odd performers, everything from jugglers, street comedians, magicians, storytellers, musicians, jugglers, acrobats, every form of street performer you can imagine. It swept around with the time clock from London to Ireland to East Coast America, East Coast South America, Mexico, Brazil, North America, Canada, went to West Coast, then to Japan, Hawaii, Australia, New Zealand,
Borneo,
Asia, Africa, through to Paris, all across Europe. And it had a donation box. It made the first event, made an extremely handsome amount that was shared between the 100 performers. And in fact, a lot of the performers decided not to collect the money and said we didn't need it because we're safe and we're at home. And lots of other performers in parts of Asia that didn't have Social Security, and Africa and all sorts of places, and stranded performers all over the world, and there were a lot. We just said give the money to them, and it was very successful. They did a second one, and it was not quite as successful. It wasn't as well promoted, but it was an incredibly exciting and successful show. There was a whole different street performer performing every 15 minutes. There were hosts, a new host every 2 hours. It went for 24 hours straight. And it was astounding. We fell off our chairs sometimes watching somebody juggle juggle knives, machetes on a unicycle in their underwear in the bathtub.
Then you woke up
in a lockdown festival. So yeah, I don't know how you do this. We're going to talk to the guys at Covent Garden because they know how to put a drop box and a donation box onto the next festival you guys put together. It was brilliant. Sorry to interrupt. I'm
good point. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good incentive to monetize an event, isn't it? And maybe have a PayPal account or something for individual artists that they can drop money into that PayPal account.
They could
or
go
something
direct
like
to
that.
them.
Or whatever.
This was so simple. It was the simplest system I've ever seen to pay anything. When we first paid something, we dropped $10 in because we decided we'd have a budget. We blew our budget because we put $10 in there many times, and it was so perfect, and it was an easy system to use.
Yes.
You didn't need a PayPal account or anything.
Sounds like a great idea.
Sounds like a good idea.
You know, maybe that's the way to go. Maybe that's the way to go. How are people finding it? I mean, I know that, see, we make a full-time living from doing street art and doing street art events. And this year, virtually nothing. Everything's been wiped out.
In the UK.
Completely wiped out. We have no income apart from government help at the moment. I just wondered how other people are coping with finances, with anything else that maybe, you know, is impacting upon their lives or their ability to create art, because it can have a negative effect on that, your ability to take part in stuff and even want to take part in stuff. You know, I mean, it's a difficult time for everyone, you know. So I'm just gonna throw that out there, and you can tell us what you feel if you want. You don't have to. But it would help keep the conversation moving. Yes.
It's just a rough time for everybody at different levels. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in New York City, we have basically, like a lot of the rest of the world, we have indoor dining closed. We have all basically music, Broadway, any kind of indoor event is closed and probably will be until next year.
Yes.
So most of those people cannot make a living right now. And I won't get into the government aspects too much, but there was just a big funding cut for people receiving government money, unemployment, pandemic unemployment. So we have a huge amount of people facing eviction from losing their homes or their apartments. We have food lines that are huge. We have homeless people all over the city. I mean, it's incredibly depressing. And you try to kind of deal with what you need to do in the course of the day and stay positive, but there's such huge issues, at least in the US, and I'm sure other parts of the world that we're dealing with, that it's just really overwhelming sometimes.
And our markets are being artificially propped up by what they call printing money, our government buying our bonds back, so in case they're left unbought, and that affects our debt rating and things that are at a much larger scale, but it's an artificial, like, false face to the world, while the American people are living in almost the equivalent of a 21st century depression under Hoover. It's just very frightening, and we know that it's not going to get any better in the months to come.
Well, never mind that. I keep back. Never mind that the fraud. Did you hear about the fraud with Go Houston? The guy that got 1.6 million from the small business loans. Remember, all that money ran out. Yep. Now they're uncovering all these people that made fraudulent claims for these little mini businesses.
Wow.
So that money's gone.
Well, people and corporations too. I mean, some corporations got huge tax breaks from the government, which is taxpayer money, and they really have means to secure other kind of funding for their businesses. I mean, I would not consider, a small business to be 500 employees or more.
Micro business, I think, would be more applicable to, like, people like us who are ourselves and maybe 1 or 2 people on staff.
So my whole point of bringing that up is that, people who do events, at least in New York City, I mean, every city and every state in the US are different. We're hugely diverse, but at least in New York City, we just don't know when those kind of events are going to come back. I mean, we had a festival scheduled in Baltimore for September, and they just canceled that. So I don't know if we'll be doing any live festivals this year. I mean, Anthony's done some corporate work during shutdown, but as far as live festivals, I don't see that happening for quite some time.
We've been fortunate locally that every first Saturday of the month, we've been getting paid $300, which I know doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when that comes in, it's a little helpful. But we're doing everything virtual here, and then just doing the time lapse like we did for this festival, and then they just merge it together and put it out there on their Facebook. So.
Who was that through? Was that through Houston or Texas?
Yeah, it's through Midtown Arts Collective. So okay. We, fortunately here, in Texas, we have like the best art venues and the best art support. So I think that we're actually pretty comparative to New York City, but at least some of those programs are still intact, and they're trying to find ways like, okay, at least do this at your house, or we're going to pick the restaurant for you to go do the street painting for the day. And it's not a lot of hours. I mean, it's only 4 hours, and for $300, that's not bad. You do have to provide your own supplies, but.
The problem with New York City is that doing work like that, basically on the sidewalk, is considered illegal. It's considered graffiti. Yeah. So
you face arrest.
You really have to find basically private property to do it on. So there are tons of people who are like, can you come and do something in front of our store? But if you try to get the city to give you a permit to do it, they will not give you a permit. And there was just during lockdown, I think in maybe April or May, there was a 72-year-old Black woman arrested for writing on an abandoned building with chalk. They did not like her political message, and she was actually arrested and processed in prison.
No.
72-year-old woman.
Terrific.
So yeah, we all have our challenges, and that's why we did our piece inside.
It's better that way.
Yes.
Maybe we'll consider renting someone's driveway. That might be an option.
Yeah.
You would think you would like the businesses would like the free advertisement,
They would. It's not the businesses, it's the city. It's politics in the city.
Oh.
you get a spot, your client gets a spot, and either the city tries to stop them or the city finally approves you, then NYPD shows up. They play Tweedledum and Tweedledee, and the end result is nothing gets done.
Yes, we've had occasions in the UK where buskers have been harassed by the police just for being out busking, you know, just collecting money and busking, and so the very idea of outdoor events happening, even though the government have given the okay to do outdoor events, seems to be a remote prospect, not least because of insurance. I mean, how can you insure an outdoor event against COVID and stuff like that? It was quite inspirational to see bandol going ahead, because I don't think that kind of event would go ahead in the UK.
No.
And it seemed to be an event that was, I don't know, Joel can tell us more about it, but it was supported by the local authority in bandol to do that. And we have yet to get to that stage where the local authority will support anything.
They're very tentative
that's going ahead in the UK. So
where we're living in Australia, we're in Victoria. Bev and I perhaps are not so much affected because we're right out on the edge of the desert, halfway between Melbourne and Adelaide. But the entire city of Melbourne, which is bigger than the entire country of Lebanon, is under absolute lockdown. You are not even allowed to mow your lawn. You are not allowed out of your house unless you meet the needs of being a carer or have a permit or are an emergency worker. The lockdown restrictions here are vital because we've had record deaths today. Every gig that we possibly had has disappeared completely. Events like the online event and the one we did 8 weeks earlier are perhaps the only way we can keep any connection with our community now, and may well be for a very long time to come. One of the things that has occurred to me after 30 years doing this is the number of people that I've never actually shaken hands with or met person to person, had a beer with, including you, Philip, who I have communicated with on the internet for perhaps 20 years. I'll never meet you. I'll never meet Anthony. I'll never, and all those people I worked with in the 90s and early 2000s and stuff in the festivals that we worked at, we won't meet them again. We're 65 years old for a start, you know, so, you know, our ability to compete and work at the festivals and with all these beautiful young, astounding, literally astounding artists is hardly worth us demanding somebody pay us to go to their gig, which I think I told you last year. And
we wanted you to come to Halifax,
yeah, I know.
Great.
But you know, it was simply worth you spending your money on somebody younger and more exciting.
That's the basic.
The reality is, though, that it has come for us as a personal shock. How many people we always thought we would meet one day or meet again one day that we're not meeting. So for us, that's probably the biggest shock of COVID. Living out in the desert, we're pretty safe. You know, we've got thousands of acres of trees around us, and we don't. Our nearest neighbours are kilometres away. So, yeah, but the loss of the friendship and the communication, especially at a big festival, that festival thing, where you turn up, you're in a hotel with all these people you've never met before, and then you all go out and you do your stuff, and you come back each night and you have beers at the pub and you learn about each other. I think for us personally, we'll never see it again. And that's probably the biggest hit for us personally. I
think he's being a bit of a pessimist. I hope.
You're and healthier than me, I can assure you of that. So yeah, but yeah, that's the biggest hit we've had.
Yes.
One thing we've found that has helped us is getting a jigsaw company that's in Ballarat to make jigsaws of some of our artwork, because a lot of people have been buying a lot of jigsaws in lockdown and being depressed and being at home wanting something to stimulate their brain. And we've sold a few jigsaws.
Yeah,
and
we've
that's
had
helped
a lot
us
of fun
through.
with that.
And
so it's worth out if you can do it. I mean, this company is a little company and fortunately is fairly local. Local here is 100 kilometres away. Yeah, I mean, if you can turn some of your art into jigsaws, you're putting your art into people's homes. And when they put the puzzle together, they actually learn a lot about how you put the artwork together. So that's a possibility for us reinventing ourselves too.
It's not a lot of money, but it helps.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
It does, definitely.
The idea of being diversifying
and
is
adapting,
a very real one. The most surprising thing about Zoom is realising that Peter Voice has an Australian accent. I don't know why, I just never anticipated that. So it was quite interesting. I just refer you to Malcolm in the chat, who said rural parts of Hereford in the UK, a lot of families have set up scarecrows in the front garden in support of the NHS. And he's asking basically, is this street art? Well,
yes, of course it is.
Of course it is.
It's public art,
yeah.
And anything that's out in the street for other people, it's street art.
That's right. It is. It's an expression, isn't it? It's an expression of something positive. So maybe that's the way to go to do it. A lot of things coming out of the Outdoor Arts UK thing is about this. What is it called? Ultra local.
Yeah, ultra local
events. So events that happen not just in your own home, but
down the road,
in your local communities, more so than big festivals and events in towns and cities. So artists will go into local communities and do stuff, on doorsteps, and that's been happening quite a bit in the UK. Yeah. And there was a big festival in Bristol that did that with
only a couple of weeks ago.
Walkabout performers and stuff like that. Maybe that's a way to go for street artists as well. Also, Malcolm has messaged us privately and said something. Can we set up a discussion group after this event? Would people be interested in having a discussion group to discuss these issues further? Is that possible?
Yeah, possible.
Interesting. So we can sort that out. Also, he's given us some information about Arts Council. England is keen to fund high street projects, so there is funding available for high street projects in the UK. Yes. Jigsaws are great pictures, but does anyone have any experience of music, singing and busking? Anybody?
I have a little bit.
Yes. Okay.
Beverly plays guitar as well as busks.
Pretty badly, but anyway.
And we have collaborated with poets and clowns to do imagery related to poetry. And yes, Beverly often will go pavement drawing, but take her guitar and
sing a few songs sometimes.
Belt out something.
I usually it's either one or the other. I usually don't take the two. It's
no, you do. You used to do that at South
in Melbourne.
That's how you ruined that guitar, and I had to get it fixed because you left it in the sun.
Yes. It really helps people. I think, when you're out in the street and you play a good song, that people that's a popular song, you really put a smile on people's faces, and you know, you really liven up the street that might be otherwise very dead, especially out in the country. And a lot of country people don't get a lot of live music around here. All the live music's in the big cities where the publicans can afford to pay them, but out here it's usually a private affair. So busking on the street, if you're a musician, is a real celebratory way for the local community.
Yeah, I can see that piano behind you. I was just wondering whether you were going to knock out a tune at the end.
I told you were going to do it.
Yeah, do it.
I told you. I said you want to work on a place. Bill, I got to tell you this. You know about the taped banana to the wall in Miami?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Does everybody else know about the banana that was taped to a wall?
Yes. Brilliant art.
Yeah, yeah. I have my favorite cafe is over the road, and just as lockdown started here in the first wave of coronavirus, I painted seven, because I always work in primary numbers, 7 bananas on the wall, taped with all
Gaffer.
3D gaffer tape, no real tape, no real bananas, gaffer tape. And now there's been at least a dozen or more photographs of people who've done silly things. They brought a banana or sitting there eating a banana on the chair under the banana paintings. And it's created this silly community game in town over this ridiculously frivolous banana mural. Street art has so many different forms.
Yes.
I mean, Patrick has a photo. This Patrick talking to Beverly. He's in one of the photos, and there are people who come along and photograph this thing and it's street art. Murals, I think they're not the same as watching your pavement art wash down the street out in the rain after a triumph, because there's something you've got to work a lot harder on. Yes. Because you know they're going to last a long time. So as artists, I think we've got to think about murals. They're long-term community benefits to your main street. In our town, I mean, we're right in the middle of the desert. But on the subject of going back to what we were talking about, what we are thinking and should do. After doing this with you guys, I reckon on the first day of spring, I reckon I might launch the Stall International Backyard Driveway Pavement Art Festival. Yep. Because I reckon we could get installed. There's nobody here. It's a town of about 2,500 people. It's ridiculous. We're world famous for a foot race, but apart from that, I just figure if we can do it again, the Zoom thing, I've learned how to do it now. I think we can do a Zoom thing every night. Yeah, you know, we can, and everybody just do what they want in this space. And, you know, my ridiculous town on the edge of the desert that nobody's ever heard of in the world before, we could possibly, with a bit of luck, and the Mexicans out there, and Anthony, and
yes.
your contacts, we'll get in contact. We'll get a few other of our older contacts perhaps involved in Canada and stuff like that. Yeah. So I reckon it'd be nice, and I'm announcing it now. It is actually, I hope people realise, about 2:30 in the morning here now.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know, and honestly, you know, it's been a great day. We're going to go to bed soon, but I hope you all join us.
I think it's a great idea, and having such an obscure town for a festival is just inspired, really. I mean, it's quite, you know, it's really good. It's a brilliant idea. I'll go. I'll be part of that.
Hey, look, I bet you we'll have the primary schools. I bet you we'll have 100 kids involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but we won't have a theme.
Great idea. I just go to the chat. Malcolm Rigler has said, in Liverpool, there have been a few events involving giant puppets from France. Can we set up a team to replicate this for the UK to tour our towns?
That was Royal Deluxe who actually brought the giants to Liverpool. Fantastic company. Excellent stuff to do.
Can we do that?
Oh, I don't know.
Possible, isn't it? Everything's possible. Here in Mexico, says Anna, there are about 10 festival of street pavement art. The 10 festivals. Any of them happening this year?
I was wondering.
Are there any festivals happening this year? Does anyone know?
Not that I know of.
Anna?
Anna.
Yeah, I can hear.
You have to wake up.
Oh my God.
Anna, have there been any festivals in Mexico that you've participated in this year?
Yeah. And this year, no, this year is not because everything is off, all is closed. I mean about the years before. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Little.
Well, this year is not work about festival. The last years, yes, but this time the art activities just in close, yeah, like door close. And I know what will happen here in this year. The art festival de la Vía is in October, but I don't know what will be happening in it. Maybe we going to work in our house, just like this time in Philip, maybe.
Okay.
Not sure whether I got all of that.
It's a bit broken.
Yeah. Rebecca says Kerrville, USA. Festival happening. Yes.
As far as I know, that's the only one this fall that's still going on. They canceled our big, huge Via Clori. Actually, they're going to stop doing that one altogether. And a lot of the other smaller festivals that are around, and some of my students that do festivals, theirs are canceled. So they're heartbroken. But as far as I know, Kerrville's still going, and it's a very well organized, very well supported festival.
And when does that take place, Rebecca? Is that sort of October? When does that take place? Is that October?
Yeah, mid to late October.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have noticed a few.
Festivals like Gelden have been cancelled. I mean, Gelden's the classic.
Yeah.
Absolute festival that made pavement art. I think the Maldonari is older, but only just. But it was Gelden that brought so many different artists because there were no religious connotations or rules. And that's been cancelled.
That was a music festival as well. They had musicians as well as pavement artists.
I mean, it was, every festival that I know of and every event that I know of has been cancelled. I can't. And I think the real question is too, certainly if you got to work in another country, and there's not many opportunities in Australia compared to Europe or America and Canada and South America and Central America. I mean, if you've got to fly, would you get on an aeroplane? Do you really want to go and take that risk? I think the idea of reinventing our art form is essential, because at the moment, I think it'll be a long time before we're safe to be able to even consider any major festivals.
Well, other than the flight, I think festivals that draw a huge audience during COVID are going to be very risky for people who are elderly or have any kind of compromised immune system, or younger children. Just being around that many people where, you know, they could catch COVID, or they could become asymptomatic and pass it to family members. Just very dangerous.
I don't think it matters how old you are or whether you're grouping it, you're risking your life.
Yeah, everybody.
But
I
we
don't
as
want
art,
to school. They're making us go face to face with our students.
Is that from
That's criminal. That's wrong.
That's like, it's insane. And I have 2 autoimmune issues and asthma. And I already asked my principal, like, listen, can I at least stay home during the PD? And she's like, well, you know, you'll feel safe in your room if you just shut your door and put a sign on your door. But, you know, we have communal restrooms, and actually one right now, we have one unisex restroom for the staff. But the kids don't want to come. They're all scared. But we have this pipeline. It actually, I don't know if it's up there in New York, Anthony, but
yes.
we have a parent pipeline. They're very well organized, and they're the ones that are the wealthy, and they are getting lawyers to get the governor to overturn any orders in individual cities to delay face-to-face teaching, because they are, number one, they either think COVID doesn't exist, or it's not that bad, or they're sick of their kids and they want the glorified babysitters.
Do you have a teachers union over there? Excuse me.
We're non-union state, not in Texas.
America, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
In Australia, we don't understand America at all.
I don't understand
Americans, we don't understand it.
Yeah, we're having a
trying
hard
to get
time.
my UK. My father was from the UK, and I just found family through DNA testing and everything. But I'm trying to get my citizenship over there. I don't know. Maybe
Good on you. Go for it, gal.
Brian, I don't know.
Yeah, try and come here. They let Americans in here. You're not, unless you're the wrong color.
Ah, yeah.
Sorry about that, but it's true.
Yeah.
I know. Same here, really. Look at our border.
Oh, you
Rebecca-
know, look after yourself. It's terrible news.
That's an interesting point that I think someone brought up about, you know, how the members of the public, how would members of the public view a pavement art event, and how could they possibly feel safe going to
engaging
an event where there's lots of people? You know, I mean, it's kind of like I see the future of events is kind of like counterintuitive to what we did in the past, whereas we would publicize it and get as many people there as possible and get a really great atmosphere. And now it's kind of like, well, don't publicize it because we don't want that many people there, and we want to keep safe, and we want to keep it quite quiet and low key, you know, because it's a kind of like
pointless.
You know, it does seem to be that pointless. Yes, exactly. It's this virus is certainly sapping all the energy out of what we used to do in the past and the way things used to be. And I don't think things will ever be the way they used to be, because this virus isn't going to go away. You know, I mean, it's 40 years since AIDS came around, and there's still no cure for AIDS. You know, there's still the idea that we're hanging our hat upon some kind of cure. Well, I don't think that's going to happen soon. You know, it doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem to be.
There's also a closing window on climate change too. Even before all this happened, from what I've read in places, it's only something like 10, 20 years before the window closes, where it's not going to be a matter of stopping it, but putting off the end. And those are terrible things to think about or even to bring up on a Sunday morning. But we never thought we would have, you know, this a killer disease spreading the world, the remnants of authoritarian regimes popping up in what's supposed to be the world's oldest democracy. I had a World War II teacher who described the rise of Nazi Germany like this. All we have is digital technology separating us from the radio and the newspaper from those days.
Yeah, I think I need to go get some whiskey for my morning coffee right now.
Yeah, well, I think we should round it up now. To be honest, we've got limited time on Zoom for free. It's been lovely to see the inside of everyone's house and see what you've got. And what you have.
This is the control view.
Very interesting. We should do this again. We should Zoom again. We should set up a chat group. Is that what they call chat groups?
Chat.
We're in.
Does everyone agree?
Good.
A discussion group. A discussion group. Let's try and find a way forward for street artists, for pavement artists in these troubled times.
I just want to say one thing.
Yes.
If I could understand what you said, that the kids are afraid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we perform in bandol, and we have 2 points of workshop with children, and all the children don't have a scare, don't have fear about to be closed, and I don't think it's a question of social distance.
I think we were talking about children going back to school in a classroom.
Sorry.
Close settings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something you talk so fast.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think
right.
we're also talking about the people's perception of safety at an event. How would they?
Whether they want to engage or not.
Yeah.
That's how it is in the UK, isn't it? That's a lot.
Can I say something about Joelle? Yeah. Joelle used the words, we all perform.
Cool. Merci.
I've always understood pavement art in my form with chalk on the real ground, not canvas, not anything else, as street performance.
Yes, it is, yeah.
If we are street artists, we are performers.
Yes.
Our stage has been taken away. We don't have our stage anymore. So we have to create a new one.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's ephemeral. It's beautiful. We keep those characteristics. We find new ways. We reinvent.
Yeah, for sure.
It's changed a lot. Well, I started drawing in 1985, got arrested everywhere.
And we have to be together, and to create something different, something new, to create, to reinvent, to imagine, like John Lennon.
Imagine, yeah.
Yes,
Imagine.
Everybody is so pessimistic. I mean, the situation evolution. It can, if they find the vaccine, and maybe this year I think it's no festival, nothing this year, but maybe next year, next summer, it will be okay, and we can all meet together, do the festival as before. Nobody thinks so?
Yeah, I hope so.
Interesting comment from Malcolm Rigler on the chat there. Within the UK, general medical practitioner is now called a primary care performer.
Cool.
Everyone's a performer these days. Malcolm has actually sent us some stuff through privately, and some of that stuff I'm going to share with you all, because you put your emails into the chat room. So I'll share some of them links with you and stuff like that after this thing. Catherine has written this out. Says,
if we go any we have to pay.
They're going to charge us on Zoom.
What is wind up? Catherine,
wind up.
Yes.
Catherine, what is wind up? Qu'est-ce que c'est wind up?
It's a wind up. This has been a wind up. You've been wound up.
En
français, oui.
Talking, I don't know. Anyway, it's been lovely to see you all again. For some people we've never met before. Some people, David, lovely to see you, David.
David, hi.
Lovely to see you, Christine, with the dog. Well, you didn't get to play that piano, Bev. I'm very disappointed. Anthony, great to see you, and Wendy as well. Lovely to see you.
Agnes,
Anna.
Hello.
Meet for the first time. We meet for the first time. Rebecca, your art was beautiful, gorgeous art. I love that piece.
Loved it.
And it's lovely to meet you. We're going to do this again sometime, and hopefully we'll set up the group discussion, and we'll find a pathway forward. Thanks, Malcolm, for all your contribution. We'll be in touch with you shortly, and I think we're going to have to
say
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you, everybody.
Hugs to you all. Hugs and love to everyone.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day or night.
Comment ça? Bye, Christine.
Bye. See you on a.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.